It all comes down to this. One final episode here in Season 2 of our realistic Borussia Dortmund career mode that could make or break our season. That's right, we have two objectives in today's episode. Number one, qualify for the Champions League via the Bundesliga, and we're well positioned to do that in 4th place, 5 points ahead of Borussia Mönchengladbach. And number two, of course, overcome Union Berlin in the final of the DFB Pokal. That game against Berlin will, of course, be our featured game of the episode. I'll show you highlights of our opener against Frankfurt, and we'll be quick simming our remaining 2 fixtures in the Bundesliga against Mainz and against Werder Bremen. And since this is the final episode of Season 2, we will, of course, be hosting our end-of-season awards. There'll be awards for the managers, the players, and the fans' players of the season, and there'll also be awards for Young Player of the Season and Most Improved Player as well. But we are jumping straight into the action, traveling to Deutsche Bank Park to take on Frankfurt, who have had a disappointing season after losing Omar Marmoush in the summer. We, on the other hand, are in fine form, having avoided defeat for 8 consecutive games now, and we will go with our strongest 11 to take on Frankfurt. Despite having no highlights to show from the first half, apparently, we absolutely dominated the game, but it was Frankfurt who would take the lead against the run of play right on the stroke of half-time. It was the absolute definition of an undeserved lead, but we didn't let it get us down. We came out for the second half with the same vigour that we came out for the first. And after Yusufa Moukoko put the ball narrowly wide of the post, he pounced on a defensive lapse from Frankfurt and slotted home to make it 1-1. And just 5 minutes later, we would finally have the lead in the game. Jan Couto firing home after being slotted in behind with a really well-weighted pass from Felix Metscher. And after having allowed the lead to slip away, Frankfurt really grew into the game in the latter portion. They tested our back line and our goalkeeper on a number of occasions, but thankfully Lotka was more than equal to the challenge. So we did manage to come away with the fully deserved 2-1 victory. Really, in truth, although Frankfurt played well in the final half an hour or so of the game, we dominated so much at that point. The scoreline could have been far, far wider. I'm not sure why we didn't have any highlights to show from the first half. We absolutely dominated the game, played some really good football. Julian Brandt even hit the bar at one point from a free kick, but nothing to show. Today's video is sponsored by Enigma Football, the UK's leading supplier of football shirt mystery boxes. Whether you're looking for a fun way to expand your own football shirt collection, or you're looking for a unique gift for the diehard football fan in your life, Enigma Football have got you covered. Their mystery boxes start at just $34.99, which is almost half the standard retail price, and you can be 100% sure that their shirts are authentic, because they get them straight from the clubs and manufacturers themselves. And you can reduce that price even further by using code LAMBZY at the checkout for 10% off your first order. That code applies to any single football shirt mystery box, and it also applies to the first month of any mystery box subscription package, where you'll receive a fresh new shirt on your doorstep every single month. You can be sure you'll get a shirt that you like too. You can ask Enigma Football to send you a shirt from a specific league with a specific colour or pattern, or to avoid certain teams, and if you still don't like what they send, you have 60 days to either return or exchange it. So head over to Enigma Football and place your order today. The link is in the description, and be sure to use code LAMBZY at the checkout for 10% off your first order. Shout out to Enigma Football for sponsoring the video and for hooking me up with a couple of shirts, including a Dortmund shirt for this series. Now let's get back to the video. And that win is going to prove particularly decisive because heading into the final 2 games of the Bundesliga season, we have now established an 8-point lead over Borussia Mönchengladbach. We will be qualifying for the Champions League. So for that reason, we will be playing a fairly heavily rotated 11 as we take on Mainz in our final home game of the season, where we managed to come away with another victory. Max Bayer getting on the score sheet in the first half, Jamie Gittens in the second. The same goes for our final Bundesliga game of the season against Werder Bremen, where Karim Adeyemi thankfully returns to the side after a lengthy spell out on the sidelines, and we do manage to come away with a victory in our final game of the season too. Werder Bremen did take the lead through Bittencourt, but Röhrl equalised shortly after. Max Bayer grabbed the winner 3 minutes from time, which brings us to our final game of the season, a cup final clash against serial overperformers in the series, Union Berlin. They qualified for the Champions League in Season 1, and they've made the final of the DFB Pokal against the odds here in Season 2. So, although on paper we are likely the favourites, They are going to be formidable opponents. But before we get into that cup final clash, we have an end of season award ceremony to host. And he was unfortunate to miss out on an award in season 1, but Fans Player of the Year in season 2 goes to Nico Schlotterbeck. He was a consistent presence at the heart of an inconsistent defence, and he did, of course, captain the side here in Season 2. Schlotterbeck's centre-back partner, Valdemar Anton, comes away with Players Player of the Season. Anton was responsible for 11 of our clean sheets this year, and after Niklas Sörler's departure, he's really made the role his own. Whilst Manager's Player of the Season goes to Felix and Metcher, though our defence was inconsistent at times, it saw a marked improvement over the second half of the season, and Felix and Metcher was in no small part responsible for that. He has a tough role as the only true holding player in our midfield and with only a single partner beside him, but he's another player who's really come into his own this season. As for Young Player of the Season, there can only be one winner, and that of course is Yusufa Moukoko. We had high hopes for the youngster heading into the season, and he more than met those, with 18 goal contributions in total. Those contributions outmatched by only a single player, our most improved player this season, Max Bayer. I don't think anybody saw Bayer's breakout coming this season, but he finishes with 15 goals and 9 assists in 40 games. And that's particularly impressive because he spent as much time out on the right wing this season as he did up front. So these are your 2025-26 season award winners. But with that, the time has now come. The biggest game of the season and the series so far, a chance to put a trophy in the cabinet and truly end the season on a high. So without further ado, let's head over to the Olympiastadion and see if we can overcome Union Berlin in the final of the DFB Pokal. So after a disappointing start to the campaign, we have been trying to salvage our season over the last handful of episodes, and we've set ourselves 2 objectives really in order to achieve that. The first of which we have already achieved: qualify for the Champions League via the Bundesliga. A 4th place finish will be enough to do that. The second objective: win the DFB Pokal, put a trophy in the cabinet. Based on the way that we started the season, I think qualifying for the Champions League and winning a trophy, we would absolutely have to deem a success ultimately. You'd say from Lotka does well to hold it, because we started the season really poorly, very inconsistently. But we have found our form, we have settled on a tactical system in the last handful of episodes. And it worked to perfection against Frankfurt earlier in the episode. We absolutely dominated them. And if we can play to a similar standard here again today, I think we're going to be okay. Yusuf and Moukoko almost opening the scoring within minutes. And Felix Metscher striking from range as well, forcing a big save from the Union Berlin goalkeeper. Nuri Sahin dressed for the occasion. Not wearing his tracksuit anymore. As Julian Brandt delivers the corner towards Schlotterbeck, who turns it towards goal once again. This time blocked it out for another corner. Julian Brandt will deliver again, this time an in-swinger. But we have started this game brightly. So too have Union Berlin though. I think it's going to be a back and forth affair. Metscher turns it towards goal. Comfortable save this time for Silva. Union Berlin very much overperforming here in the series. They don't have the strongest team on paper. They do have Sebastian Haller up front, of course, after we allowed him to leave between Season 1 and Season 2. But despite the somewhat lackluster squad, to be honest, they are managing to qualify for Europe, managing to make finals of cup competitions. Something is obviously working well for them. Moukoko pulls it back across goal for Bayer at the back post, who taps it in, and we have the lead within 10 minutes. Those are two players who have really taken a step forward this season. Yusuf and Moukoko, we predicted the outbreak. Max Bayer, we certainly didn't, but they combine yet again for the opening goal here at the Olympiastadion, and I was worried that Bayer would be offside there. I guess Moukoko has pulled it back, or at least square. Either that or Max Bayer was just behind Yusuf and Moukoko when he played the ball across. But the ball did look to be played forward rather than backwards or directly horizontal across the 6-yard box. But Max Bayer, I suppose, just holding his run enough to stay onside. And Moukoko could be in behind again here. Julian Brandt can't quite find him. And Union Berlin do hook it clear, but I think there was a hand in there somewhere. Oh no, it's actually gone Berlin's way. It looked for a moment as if the referee had awarded us the free kick. It is clear by Anton, an awkward one though. And Kuto can't quite find Bayer. Saw Kuto score against Frankfurt. A reward for the hard work and excellent performances he's been putting in this season. I think he's been an excellent signing at right back, and I think he is one of the players really that makes this system tick. And I think we saw that against Frankfurt, not only with the goal, but just with his general play. Allowing Max Bayer to cut inside because Kuto is there to make the overlapping runs. He hasn't quite put enough on that crossfield ball to Julian Brandt though, but Marcel Zabitzer does win it back. And Brandt will loft it up towards Bayer at the back post, headed clear again by Berlin. And they will look to break. Zabitzer, potentially a player we're going to be losing heading into Season 3. 2 players on the pitch right now will be playing their last minutes for Borussia Dortmund. That we have neglected to consider thus far. But we will be releasing, well not releasing, but selling 2 of our best players heading into Season 3. Our consequence, our punishment, I suppose, for failing to make the semi-finals of the Champions League this season. Coco, Zabitzer, into the feet of Bayer, who just about gets there. And Metscher will find Benzabaini. Julian Brandt, also one of those players that will be on the list of potential departures this summer, and that's going to fall for Metscher, and he's going to strike it on the half volley, and it's going to go just wide. Felix Metscher really coming into his own as well, now that we have shifted him across to the right-hand side of that midfield duo. Marcel Zabitzer the same. Making that switch has really unlocked the performances of each of those players, to the extent that I will be disappointed if we have to sell Zabitzer in the summer. I was kind of resigned to letting him go because we have to get out to that. And we do, thankfully. He's been kind of lackluster up to this point. But since we made that switch, moving him over to the left-hand side of the midfield, allowing him a little bit more freedom to get forward, and really to move box to box more so, it's really unlocked his performances. Is getting up there in age, I suppose, is a consideration as well. Jan Couto drives. Bayer taking up a narrow position, so we'll just retain possession through Anton, who's been excellent throughout the series, as has Schlotterbeck. Sabitzer finds Brandt, and again we will just retain possession. With the lead we don't... That's such a poor pass. With the lead we don't have to push too hard to score again in this half. But of course, we haven't been the best and most consistent defensively this season by any means. Feels like a one-goal lead is always tenuous with this side. So I certainly would prefer to get a second and grab a little bit of insurance. Garassi, Makoko can't quite squeeze past his man. We could have done with Julian Brandt making that run into that left-hand channel there, but he just kind of held his position, forcing Makoko to hold on to the ball for a little bit longer, but we had players over there. Could have been an excellent opportunity to grab that second goal. We've been fairly comfortable so far through almost half an hour. Union Berlin will certainly be looking to get back level in the game before half-time, though, you would imagine. Schlotterbeck well positioned. Zabitzer the same. Nicely worked from Berlin, though, enjoying a little bit of possession. Good block from Schlotterbeck, and I think Union Berlin are getting the advantage here. And it was a very, very long advantage. And I think it's just bounced up and hit a hand there, so it's going to be a free kick right on the edge of the box for Berlin. I don't, if I had to make a prediction, I don't imagine we're going to keep a clean sheet in this game. I think we're going to have to score at least a second goal if we are going to come away with the victory, either in regulation or in extra time. Zabitzer, that's so strong. Does really well to bring that down. Just waits for support. That does eventually arrive through Julian Brandt, who spots the run of Max Bayer. He tries to find Garassi. If I'm being honest, I'd press the pass button trying to find Jan Couto before Bayer had taken that extra touch. And I hadn't anticipated him still trying to attempt a pass there. But the Wall did a solid job there. Perfectly timed jump. Maintains the clean sheet. Which again, I don't think is going to last 90 minutes, but we will do our best to ensure that it does. Allaire just lays it back. Two behind him in support. One Benez, the other Kevin Volland, who is still somehow at Union Berlin. There's big talks of him moving to Newcastle way back when they first got taken over. Strike from range. Thankfully a poor one. And Marcel Lotka will just lay the ball out to Nico Schlotterbeck from the goal kick. Lotka getting the nod today. We could have gone with the more experienced Alexander Meyer. We could have gone with the youngster Louis Waters. I think he's been good considering Louis Waters. I think that's the most pragmatic way to put it. I think he's been as good as we could have expected him to be, given his age, given his height, given his inexperience. But I don't think that's been good enough. So Lotka gets the nod today. I think he's been our best option since January, when we did have to let Gregor Kobel go. Julian Brandt just plays it off the Berlin defender, out for a corner. Approaching the 40-minute mark. Dortmund fans in full voice in this iconic stadium. Brandt delivers. Anton can't quite win the header. Brandt will deliver once again, though, looking for Max Bayer at the back post. Mecha nods it down. Brandt with a third opportunity to deliver. Again looking for Brandt, again headed clear. Mecha from range, blocked. And it's going to be recycled once again for Julian Brandt. This time a poor cross, doesn't find a Dortmund shirt. And Felix Mecha again Testing the keeper from range. He's had 2 or 3 of those kind of opportunities already today. And he's forced a good save from the keeper on a couple of those. I think we are going to deliver it with Julian Brandt again rather than going short. We'll try and deliver it a little deeper this time though. Schlotterbeck in there. But it is going to fall to Union Berlin, who will have a chance to break. Max Bayer immediately going to at least slow the Berlin counter-attack down and actually put a complete stop to it. Excellent defensive work from Max Bayer dropping in. Will be a Berlin throw. Benes. And he finds a Berlin teammate. Metra initially out of position, but does well to find his defensive position once again. And Allaire is clearly going to win that at the back post against Jan Couto. Somehow we get the ball clear. And Makoko slots it through to Max Bayer with absolute precision. And Garassi in the box. Can't quite win the header. Wasn't the best cross from Max Bayer. I think attempting the cross was the right decision. Garassi one-on-one with a Berlin defender. You fancy him to go up and win that contested header. But we could have used a slightly deeper cross there. More towards the centre of the penalty area rather than towards that corner. And Couto has misplaced the pass. Searching for Max Bayer. Half-time whistle imminent though. And we do still maintain not only a 1-goal lead but also a clean sheet. And the referee's half-time whistle does go. 1-goal lead at half-time we will certainly take. We'll certainly take the performance as well. We've looked good. Berlin have looked somewhat dangerous on the counter-attack at times. But I think we've been fairly comfortable. And I think if we can put a similar performance in the second half, I see no reason we can't come away with this victory and with this trophy. If you're enjoying the game and today's episode, please take a second to like the video. And if you want to see more realistic FC25 content, be sure to subscribe, not just to catch the next episode of this series, but other realistic career modes, realistic rebuilds, slider updates that might be dropping in the future. And if you want to get ahead of the curve and see those kinds of videos before anybody else, consider becoming a 12th man member of the channel. Membership starts at just $1.99 a month and grants you exclusive early access to all new videos, with tier rewards scaling up from there and including the possibility of being featured in my career mode saves. Thank you to everyone who is already supporting the channel through their membership. It is genuinely very much appreciated and helps the channel to run. But now let's head back out for the second half. So no changes for either side as we emerge for the second half. A second half in which I think we're going to see Berlin really begin to press for an equaliser the longer the game goes. We saw it with Eintracht Frankfurt. They really kicked things up a notch in the final half an hour or so of the game, and I think if Berlin are still behind with an hour on the clock, I think we'll see a similar thing. Couto delivers, good cross. Goalkeeper on the front foot though, comes out to claim. And already we're seeing a more direct approach from Berlin, immediately lumping the ball forward. Benzabaini, I put far too much on that, really poor pass. Julian Brandt looked good out on the left-hand side against Frankfurt as Berlin make their first change of the game. We do have that role kind of earmarked for more of a true winger rather than more of a playmaking number 10 kind of half winger like Julian Brandt. But he's kind of the polar opposite of Max Bayer on the opposite sides. And they do say opposites attract, so it's felt good having two completely different types of players, one on either side of the formation. As I hope this is going to be our free kick. I think it is. Nico Schlotterbeck taking a tumble in the penalty area. And the referee will bail us out. And already, again, not only are Berlin taking a more direct approach, but we can see them pressing a lot higher here in the second half as well. I thought it might take until the hour mark for them to do so, but Makoko not going to get there. Again, we've just lacked quality in the final third for the better part of this game, to be honest. outside of the goal scoring chance that we took earlier in the first half. We really haven't had the quality in the final third. Julian Brandt looking to change that. We'll just turn back and we'll just find Zabitzer. Felix Metscher. Reverse pass looking for Moukoko. Berlin midfielder well positioned though. Setting up on the edge of their box, but looking to break quickly. And I can feel Berlin becoming more and more comfortable as the second half progresses. I can feel the momentum shifting in their favour as we potentially start to get a little bit nervy and Sebastian Haller equalises. I said the clean sheet wouldn't last 90 minutes, and indeed it hasn't. Sebastian Haller with a really good finish from the edge of the box. Felix Metscher coming over to try and make the block. Anton maybe a little lackadaisical in his approach there. Perhaps he could have got a foot in. I'm kind of surprised Locke has been beaten from there as well, to be honest. It didn't look to be a golden opportunity. Looked to be more of a half chance, really. Nothing too clear cut. But an excellent finish from Haller on the edge of the box. And we are going to have to grab a second goal in this game if we do want to come away with the victory. We imagined that would be the case, even with that one goal lead in the first half. Metscher. Benzabaini. Finds Julian Brandt. Really good feet from Brandt, but still going. Metscher. Just lofted in behind for Jan Couto. He's going to pull it back across goal. Couto's offside. Or are they giving offside for Max Bayer there? As we're going to see a replay of Haller's goal. Really good finish, to be fair. You get credit where it's due. Really good finish. And I think they're actually giving offside for Max Bayer there. We've pulled it back across goal with Jan Couto. And I think the linesman's given offside. Bayer not involved in the play. Bayer also behind Jan Couto. The ball also played backwards instead of forwards. But based on the position of where the free kick was taken, I don't think they were giving that for the initial pass to Jan Couto. I'm pretty sure he was a lot further back from where the free kick was taken. So a little confused by that one. Oh, and Berlin managed to squeeze past Zabitzer somehow, and Metscher doesn't manage to get it clear. Not on the first occasion, not on the second either. Schlotterbeck, what a challenge. And we are really treading on thin ice now. Union Berlin, as we said, we could feel the momentum shifting in their favour. And it has completely shifted in their favour now. But Guirassy finds Moukoko. Can't get the shot away. What a recovery challenge from the Berlin defender. Excellent opportunity to grab that second goal. But Moukoko couldn't pull the trigger. Nice ball into Moukoko now, though. It's actually Guirassy. And he does manage to get the shot away. Not enough to test the Berlin keeper, really, though. Comfortable save. Straight down his throat, really, from Guirassy. And I think it might be time shortly to bring on Karim Adeyemi. He made his return against Werder Bremen. We thought we would lose him. Good save from Lotka. We thought we would lose him for the duration of the season. Didn't anticipate having him for this particular game. Spire wins that header. Oh, he can't quite find Guirassy. And we're getting a little desperate now. Great challenge from Anton. We thought we'd lost Karim Adeyemi for the duration of the season, but he has just about made it back for this cup final, so I think we're probably going to make that change shortly, and I think we're going to bring Max Bayer inside. I think it's going to be Youssef and Moukoko who makes way. Put Bayer up front alongside Guirassy, but Karim Adeyemi out there on the left, and we will make that change now. So Frankfurt making a change here as well. Lucas Toussaint to come on. And it is just going to be the single change for Nuri Sahin, as Moukoko does make way. Karim Adeyemi to make his return in the final of the DFB Pokal. Very happy to have him back. And he will look to make his impact as quickly as possible. Has been one of the bright sparks this season, really. We were very disappointed to lose him to injury because he was having an excellent season up to that point. Max Bayer, thankfully, with the additional game time, as we said, has had a breakout of his own. And I think we are set up in very good stead going forward in Season 3 and beyond with the likes of Makoko, Bayer and Adeyemi. Guirassy we may be forced to move on from. Again, a player that's going to be on the list of potential departures heading into Season 3. Couto drives, lost it towards the back post where Max Bayer lies in wait, and I think it's blocked. As we have a yellow card for a Berlin defender. Not sure what for. Oh, for this challenge. That's absolutely fair enough. As Louis Waters looks on, receiving a couple of words of wisdom from Nuri Sahin potentially. He, of course, had his opportunity to play in this game. Schlotterbeck wins the header off either the post or Sebastian Haller, I'm not sure. And it's going to drop to Karim Adeyemi at the back post. Doesn't have the space to get a shot away himself, just finds Max Bayer. As Schlotterbeck is down in the box, Zabitzer gets the shot away and it's blocked. I have no idea if that header hit the post or if it was cleared away by Sebastian Haller. But either way, another excellent opportunity to grab that second goal that we need to come away with the victory. And I'm eager to see... Oh, Benzabaini, why make that run and then just turn around? I'm eager to see whether Schlotterbeck has picked up a knock that's going to force him off the pitch. Bayer. Adeyemi at the back post, looked clear. Looked to be a perfectly placed cross for Adeyemi to run onto. Well won from Anton. And we'll just find Julian Brandt on the left. And there's Adeyemi once more, cutting inside, drives, gets the shot away wide. Unfortunate. Decent attempt from Adeyemi. As we will check on that Schlotterbeck injury. In fact, we'll wait to do that. Don't want to make a change just yet. I was considering making a couple of changes there, but 10 minutes from the end of the regulation 90. If we're going to be heading into extra time, I want as many opportunities to make substitutions during that extra time period as possible. We've waited far too long to play that pass, far too long. However, Schlotterbeck has picked up an injury, so I think we're going to have to bring him off here. So it's going to be 2 additional changes for Nuri Sahin. Schlotterbeck unfortunately forced off. Jan Couto going to make way as well. So Bakir Omaracic will replace Nico Schlotterbeck. And Frankowski will come on at right wing back. Omaracic immediately finds Zabitzer. Julian Brandt. Good little run from Max Bayer. And Guirassy is in. Nicely worked. And Guirassy just about puts it past the Berlin keeper. I'm not sure if the keeper even got a hand to that. I don't think it was the best finish from Guirassy. But it was an excellent move. Incisive, clinical. Clinical, something we haven't been in the game so far, but we only needed to have that clinical cutting edge one additional time. And it was, yeah, it's really poor from the Berlin keeper. He's got a solid hand to that. Hasn't managed to parry it round the post. Instead just parries it into the back of his own net. And I think now we try and sit on this 1-goal lead and see out the 90. So we will make a couple of final changes to try and achieve that. Julian Ryerson coming on. Jakub Kivior the same. So making all of our defensive substitutions we have available, really. Frankowski is going to be playing up at right midfield in front of Julian Ryerson, just to provide a little more defensive solidity down that right-hand side. Oh my God. It's not going to count. Thank God it's not going to count. Sebastian Haller on his knees. I was almost on my knees myself. Haller, Berlin, put it in the back of the net for the second time. But foul on the edge of the box, according to the referee, is going to absolutely bail us out there. It looked as though Haller had sent this game to extra time. Lotka just going to hook clear in search of Adeyemi. Has moved over to the left-hand side now, and who wins the header. and finds Max Bayer, who just about finds Guirassy. Space on the right-hand side for Frankowski. And I think we just retain possession here. If we can take the ball into the corner, I would be more than happy to do that. Frankowski finds Ryerson. Frankowski once again. And we will look for the corner once again. Instead finds the byline. Pulls it back for Guirassy. It's going to be a corner though. The more of the remaining 2 minutes we can spend in Berlin's final third, the better, obviously. We will just play it short here. To Frankowski. Zabitzer. Frankowski once again. Into the corner once again. Finds the byline once again. Finds too much of the byline. But we are into additional time here. At the very end of the final of the DFB Pokal. A chance to put a trophy in the cabinet. 2 minutes is all we need to hold on for. Kivior finds Lotka. Again, we'll just pump it out to that left-hand side where Adeyemi brings it down. Unreal from Adeyemi. And Ryerson is up in support as well as Frankowski. And we will look for the corner. 2 minutes have elapsed. Surely the whistle is going to blow. Still no. Zabitzer. And finally the whistle goes. And we just about get it over the line. Looked as though we'd thrown it away. 5 minutes from time. As Allaire put it in the back of the net for a second time. Thankfully chalked off. And we do just about have enough to win the game and win our first trophy of the series. Hopefully there is more to come. We have our sights rather set higher than the DFB Pokal. Very happy to have won the trophy, don't get me wrong. But we absolutely have our sights set on the Bundesliga and even on the Champions League. However, winning a trophy is never a bad thing. We will be happy to put one in the cabinet. And I don't think it's going to be Schlotterbeck to lift the trophy. It's going to be Marcel Sabitzer. Could well be on his way out of Dortmund this summer. And this could be his last action to lift the DFB Pokal trophy. Guirassy the same. Schlotterbeck played well, had to come off. But a really, really strong finish to the season. And I think we have momentum now heading in to Season 3. So I will leave you here with Marcel Sabitzer lifting the trophy. And we will rejoice in a season turned around. It was looking shaky halfway through the year, and then we sold our highest overall player. But we have managed to turn things around, and I think we should go into Season 3 with high hopes and high expectations. So hope you've enjoyed Season 2 as much as I have, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take it easy.